Hello guys and welcome back to our channel Barca Admirers for your daily dosage of all the latest news updates and transfers roundup related to Football Club Barcelona. In today's episode, we're going to have a look at the injury situation being faced by Barca as a new name has been added to that list, while the contract renewal of Ousmane Dembele is feared to be derailed if the club do not act swiftly. On the other hand, Pedri's injury is yet to be healed as a massive news comes up about a possible big signing in the summer along with many more such updates. So make sure to watch this video till the very end without skipping over any part. We start off today's news roundup with some real bad news as reported by top-tier journalist Javi Miguel. It states that Ronald Araujo has a hamstring injury in his right thigh. The player will now return to Barcelona. He is expected to be out for about 15 days due to this injury. He will also miss the games against Valencia, Dinamo Kiev and probably also the Clásico against Real Madrid. Adding to our misery, Spanish news publication Mundo Deportivo reports that against Dinamo Kiev in Barca's next Champions League fixture, with Araujo ruled out due to injury and Eric Garcia facing a suspension, Clement looks all set to make a reappearance in the starting lineup. With a defense that was faltering already, it's no more a doubt that this injury will hurt us even more. We had a thin chance of putting up a convincing performance in the Clásico. Now, it's just gotten even thinner. News outlet Sport reports that Ronald's Koeman will now be followed even more closely in the next two games against Valencia and Dinamo Kiev. If these two games are not won, the coach's future would be in the air once again. For the next one, we actually have some good news as it's now been officially confirmed that the Catalan government has announced that 100% capacity is now being allowed inside the stadiums once again. In the upcoming games against Valencia, Dinamo Kiev and also in the Clásico against Real Madrid, the Camp Nou could be full. Barca are optimistic about it. Speaking about our stadium, Spanish publication Mundo Deportivo states that Barca will study using retractable grass in the new Camp Nou. The club have taken note of the system of the new Bernabeu and the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that allows them to host a lot of events other than football. But first, it must be analyzed if it's viable architecturally. Some more good news up next as Sport reports that at Barca, they are convinced that Pedri and Gavi have to play together on the pitch. Inside the club, the two youngsters are seen as compatible and if necessary, Ronald Koeman will have to change the system to 4 midfielders to accommodate them. In the next commitments of the national team, Luis Enrique could also have a 100% Blaugrana core with Sergi Busquets, Pedri Gonzalez and Gavi in the lineup. This does bring back some old memories, but I will try to be careful with these youngsters. With time, I am sure that they will definitely develop into generational players. The report further states that Gavi has earned himself a new role at Barca after his explosion with the national team, and it's now difficult to see him outside the starting lineup. The next report might spell some bad news as top-tier transfer insider Fabrizio Romano now confirms that there is absolutely no agreement between Barcelona and Ousmane Dembele. The situation is a bit complicated. Reporting further on this issue, journalist Adrian Albert states that Dembele's new contract is being worked on. There are almost weekly contacts with his agent. Dembele has told the club that he wants to continue, but his agent is trying to lengthen the negotiations to win some time. As far as the contract renewals of other players are concerned, reliable journalist Ruben Uria reports that Barcelona remain confident that Ansu, Fati and Pedri can be tied to new contracts at the Camp Nou, but the La Liga giants cannot afford to put lucrative offers to two hot prospects as they continue to work through the financial difficulties. However, there have been absolutely no shortage of regular statements of intent from prominent figures at Barca over the recent weeks, with contract talks said to be on the right track and also very advanced, but neither is as close to signing as noises coming out of the Camp Nou suggest. Reporting on this issue, however, news outlet Sport states that the agreement between Pedri and Barca is in the final stretch and could be announced before Sunday. According to the report of top-tier transfer insider Fabrizio Romano, Barcelona have reached total agreement with Pedri to extend his contract until June 2026. The new deal is to be signed in the next few days. The final clauses have been agreed and fixed as well. As per reports, the new release clause for Pedri will be 1 billion euros. Regarding Ansu Fati's contract, journalist Yelena Condis reports that Ansu's new contract will be one with a shorter duration than Pedri's, but it will be reviewable when the club's financial situation improves. In fact, Sports reports that Jorge Mendes is in Barcelona already to finalize Ansu Fati's new contract. The player will sign a new deal until 2025. As for yet another young talent, Gavi, Cadena Ser reports that his case will take a bit longer because Barca initiated contacts a lot later. There are good feelings, however, that an agreement will definitely be reached. As far as Pedri's situation is concerned, journalist Adriano Fernandez reports that Pedri is recovering from the injury and the club does not want to take risks at all. He will not be available for the game against Valencia, and if there is no surprise, he will also not be against Dynamo Kiev. Regarding yet another injury, top-tier journalist Tony Juan Martí confirms that Kun Aguero is very close to making his debut with Barca. He and Dembele took part in training with the team once again today. In fact, Aguero has also scored his first unofficial goal for Barcelona already. He scored a goal in the first 30 minutes of the friendly against UE Cornellà at the Ciutat Esportiva Juan Gamper Stadium in this morning. A friendly designed for Dembele and specially Aguero to gauge the physical condition. However, Dembele did not play and Koeman used a 3-5-2 formation. Next up, we have a very interesting piece of news as reported by Spanish news publication Partidazo Cope. It states that Atletico Madrid tried to sign Messi and they offered a net salary of 20 million euros a season. Luis Suarez was the mediator back then, but Messi refused because the offer was too low and also because of his loyalty to Barcelona. Speaking some more about Messi, Mundo Deportivo reports that Leo is the front-runner for the Ballon d'Or this year. Although Marca and others are pushing for Benzema with the voting already opened, Leo Messi still has a much greater global support, especially in Asia and Africa, mainly due to his exceptional Copa America campaign. Going to the next news update, we have a report by news outlet TV3. It states that Bartomeu is looking forward to responding to Ferran Reverte and he will do so very soon. The former president considers that the losses of his mandate pointed out by Reverte have been over-exaggerated. Now, to be very honest, I really cannot imagine what sort of goddamned excuse Bartomeu will come up with this time to defend himself. Unless he faces a prosecution for his fraudulent actions, justice truly would not be served. In fact, he screwed the club up so much that I'm not even sure what sort of dumb comments Bartomeu will make in public this time. As per the report of Cadena Ser, Barca still owe 115 million euros to other clubs for signings that have already been made. 42 million euros from which are for Liverpool for the sale of Phillipe Coutinho. Next up, we have some good news as Mundo Deportivo reports that Samuel Umtiti could take advantage of Article 18.3 in the regulations and the statute and transfer of players of FIFA, which states that if a player does not feature in at least 10% of all the games in this season, he can request to leave on a free. We got some more good news up next as top-tier journalist Alfredo Martinez reports that the negotiations with Sergi Roberto have completely broken down. He might leave the club at the end of this season. Now that's all the news we could collect for you today in the news roundup. Moving on to the transfer section, we started off today with a report by top-tier journalist Ferran Martinez. It states that Barca are tracking the market to find players at zero cost next summer. With 8 months to go to finish the season, there are already names that stand out and fit in, such as Andre Onana, Paul Pogba, Antonio Rudiger and Frank Kessie. Moving on to the next transfer update, we have some great news as Spanish news publication Sports reports that Newcastle United are interested to sign Clement Lenglet in January. The English club are looking for a left-footed central defender and the Frenchman is an option that they really like. For the next one, we have yet another good news as journalist Luis Miguel Sanz reports that Barcelona has received several offers from investment funds to help buy Erling Haaland. There are many people who have learned the process and find it worthwhile and even helpful for the club. According to a report published by Mundo Deportivo, Barca are absolutely convinced that Haaland is a different player and are looking for different formulas to face his signing. Even top-tier journalist Elwood White also confirms that Barca dreams of lowering the wage bill drastically to be able to sign a superstar in the summer of 2022. The names of Phillipe, Coutinho and Samuel Umtiti are the players to be highlighted, along with other players such as Luis Neto, Clement Lenglet and Martin Braithwaite. However, ever-reliable transfer insider Fabrizio Romano has confirmed on his podcast that neither Barca nor Phillipe Coutinho have received any formal approach from Newcastle United. Meanwhile, Fischahe reports that Bayer Leverkusen are pushing to sign Alex Collado on loan in January. The player so far has not been registered for Barcelona. For the next transfer update, we have yet another report by Sport. It states that Barcelona have reactivated their operations to sign 17-year-old Fabio Blanco in January. The club were already interested in the player in the summer when he left Valencia for Eintracht Frankfurt. He could join on loan with an option to buy at the end of the season. The report also states that Denis Zakaria of Mönchengladbach, a pivot of a physical profile, will also be free and is on the list of potential future Blaugrana players. For the next one, Sport reports that 18-year-old Yermi Pino, who recently made his Spain debut, was one step away from signing for Barcelona in 2017, but his signing was hijacked by Villarreal at the very last minute. That's all the news we could collect for you today. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon, select all and enable all the YouTube app notifications. We have always been overly impressed by your response to our videos, so in this episode, we have decided to set a target of 550 likes. Please Qlers, help us reach our target on this episode as well. Now that's all we have for today's episode. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Visca el Barça, Visca el Catalunya.